They say the hardest part about holding XRP isn't enduring a 50% crash overnight or riding out the hype of a bull run. No, the real challenge is something far more personal, and almost nobody actually talks about it. And after 5 years on the XRP roller coaster, I think I finally figured out what it is. You see, I have been holding XRP since early 2020. I've lived through the gut-wrenching crashes, the exhilarating spikes, the lawsuits, and the rumors. There were days that I checked my portfolio and felt on top of the world, and other days I questioned every life choice that led me to buy this coin. Now, if you've been in crypto for more than just a minute, you will know exactly what I mean. But recently I came across a perspective that, at least from a crypto founder, that hit me rather hard. It put into words why holding XRP tests us like nothing else. So today I want to share a personal story of resilience, a few hard-learned lessons, and one eye-opening discovery about XRP's wild journey. Stick around, because by the end of this, you might actually end up seeing this coin and your own habits in a completely new light. Let's start with a confession. Holding XRP has not been easy for me. And I'm not talking about the tech or the news or even the price. I'm talking about the psychology of it, right? Now, Vincent, the founder of Black Swan Capitalist, recently put it perfectly. He said that the market tests your conviction at every stage of XRP's cycle. Now, every surge and every dip is like a little demon that is on your shoulder whispering, "Are you sure that you want to hold this?" If you've ever kind of held XRP or any volatile asset, then you felt that whisper. It's the temptation to sell during a sudden rally because, hey, profit is there, right? Or the urge to dump everything during a crash to stop the bleeding. Now, Al-Jahar nailed it. Patience is the most difficult, yet the most valuable trait for us long-term holders. Let's think about it. XRP has this habit of shooting up and then plunging right the way back down. It's kind of like a heartbeat monitor on steroids, right? 1 minute you're at the top of a giant wave. The next, you're being thrown into the trough, right? Now, each time you have to confront your own emotions. I remember in late 2024 when XRP was lagging behind almost every other coin. Bitcoin was climbing, meme coins were going crazy, and XRP, it was just sitting there, testing my patience. I asked myself, why am I still holding this when everything else is popping off? Honestly, I came this close to just selling and chasing those greener pastures, right? But no, I held on. Barely, of course. And wouldn't you know it, right? Just when a lot of people gave up, XRP decided to take off. Now, by the end of 2024, it had skyrocketed over 500% in just a matter of weeks. After months of doing absolutely nothing, it suddenly exploded, reaching the highest levels that we had seen since the last bull run. It kind of felt like the universe was laughing at everyone who had lost patience. Now, here is the kicker. That pattern isn't new at all. In fact, it's kind of XRP's signature move. You see, back in 2017's crypto boom, XRP underperformed for months, doing practically nothing exciting, until it blew up by over 70,000% by the end of that run. Yes, you heard that right, 70,000%. Right? People who had held on through all of the dull moments and months suddenly watched their tiny little investments turn into life-changing sums. And then some, right? Almost practically, or predictably I should say, came the crash afterwards, over 95% down from that epic peak. Now, can you imagine the emotional whiplash? Some of you don't have to imagine it because you were there too. You see, I was around in 2007, and there are some war stories from a lot of the OG XRP holders, right? The ones who rode it from fractions of a penny to over $3 and then all the way back down. Many of them will tell you the same thing. The hardest part wasn't the crash itself. It was holding on through the quiet times before the rocket launched, and then resisting the urge to sell during the insane rally, right? Because let's be real, when you see your portfolio multiply by hundreds of thousands of percent, a voice in your head screams sell, right? Take the money and run. And if you don't have a plan or some serious conviction, you probably will sell. Fast forward to my experience here. Early 2020, I jumped back into XRP, bright-eyed and hopeful, right? I'd done my research, or so I had thought. I believed XRP's potential was there, but nothing prepares you for actually living through a lot of the volatility. Now, I watched XRP go from around 11 cents, at least when I was buying it up, to around 70 cents, and then crashed to 20 cents, right? At least 17 cents when the SEC had sued Ripple. And of course, I had to buy the dip because that's what you do. Now, that lawsuit in December of 2020 was a bit of a sucker punch, wasn't it, right? Exchanges were delisting XRP left and right. Everyone was screaming that XRP was done for. And I remember staring at the red numbers and feeling my stomach drop. Now, part of me, this is thinking things like this. This is it. It is over. But another part of me, the stubborn part of me, said, no, I didn't come this far to panic sell now. So I held through it. Not because I was some kind of investing genius here. And maybe I am. I don't think I am. I'm not going to proclaim to be either. I was honestly just too stubborn to admit defeat, and that's pretty much me all over. I don't want to be defeated. I am very much a determined individual. And also, I will confess, I'm a little bit of this was because I had really no clue what else to really do, because selling a huge loss kind of felt worse than maybe clinging on, hoping for a rebound, right? But here's a spoiler, right? XRP survived. Not only that, by April of 2021, it did shoot up to around $1.96. Now, that wasn't anywhere near its 2017 all-time high, but it was a huge relief. I'd felt vindicated for take that, doubters, but did I sell at $1.90? I did not. No, I held. Why? Right? Greed, hope, conviction. Call it what you want. I like to think stubbornness. But anyway, I thought that was just the beginning of a much bigger move. I thought there was more to the upside back in 2021. And, well, I was wrong, at least in the short term, right? The price had sank again later in 2021 and through 2022. My conviction was tested all over again. But like I say, dips are for buying. I put some random limit orders on Binance at 30 cents. By now, you probably will be thinking, why put yourself through all of this emotional ride? Why not just trade the swings or pick something a little bit more stable? Well, trust me here, I asked myself that very same question, but here is the answer as to why. It's the fundamentals of it all, right? Because this is where that crypto founder, Vincent brings some wisdom back into the conversation. Because he stressed that patience only really truly pays off when you understand what it is that you hold. Because if you don't know why XRP has value, then every dip will scare you and every pump will tempt you out of it. But if you know what you hold, the volatility becomes less nerve-wracking. So, what are XRP's fundamentals that kept me hanging on then? Well, it boils down to the utility. XRP is not just another random meme coin doing nothing. It was designed to move money across the world quickly and cheaply. Ripple, the company closely associated with XRP, has been working for years to build a global payments network. And we are talking partnerships with banks, payment providers, even experimenting with central banks on digital currencies. Now, XRP is like the oil in the engine of this potential new financial infrastructure. It's supposed to make it all run smoothly, instantly, across the borders. So I remind myself of this every time that I feel a bit shaky. Like, picture a future where sending money internationally is as quick as sending an email. Right? XRP could be a part of making all of that happen. Now, if that future does come, imagine what an early XRP investment could be worth. Now, according to 𝗗𝗗𝗃, once you grasp those fundamentals, holding XRP stops being blind faith and becomes a strategic position. And you know what? I love that phrase, strategic position. It makes me feel like I'm a little bit like a general kind of calmly waiting on the hilltop while the battle rages on below, because I know why I am here. But even a general gets nervous from time to time, right? Especially when months go by and nothing much happens, or when other coins are blasting off. Now, XRP has a history of testing patience exactly like this. We saw it in 2017. We saw it in 2024. It's almost like XRP loves to be the last one to leave the party. But when it does, it leaves with an absolute bang. Like this long patience, fast payoff rhythm, if you will, is what makes XRP so tricky to actually hold on to. Right? You wait and you wait and you wait, and then it moves so fast that if you blink, you're going to miss it. And if you gave up a week or two early, you definitely will miss it. Investors often capitulate right before the strongest part of XRP's move begins. I've seen it happen. People throw in the towel after months of boredom or frustration, only to watch in agony as the price surges without them. Let's talk about that word, capitulation, because in crypto, it basically means that you surrender. Right now, you're tired of waiting, tired of hoping, and you just sell to end all of the pain of the uncertainty. I felt that temptation before. Now, honestly, in some past cycles, I did capitulate on some other coins. I've chased pumps and sold bottoms. It's kind of like the rite of passage in crypto. But with XRP, something is different for me. Maybe it's because I've been in this community for a while, reading, learning, seeing the bigger picture. Or maybe it's just that I am that stubborn, and maybe as stubborn as a mule, right? Maybe it just could be both. Now, here is where the psychology really does kick in, because it's not just about patience during the quiet times or the bravery during the crashes. The hardest part of holding, in my view, and apparently many others do agree about this, is actually resisting the urge to sell when you're finally way up there, right? It sounds pretty weird, right? Like, isn't that just what we all dream of, right? Huge profits. Well, yes, but imagine this, right? You got in at, let's say, 20 cents and XRP hits $5. Well, you're sitting on, let's say, a 25x gain. Now, that could be a new car, a house deposit, depending on how much you've invested, maybe even more. Maybe straight up financial freedom, depending on how much you actually bought. Now, your hands, they start shaking, right? That sell button is right there after all. It's just one tap away. What do you do? A lot of people, they think that they would just hold out for even more, but nah, right? I won't sell at $5. I'm holding to $100 or $1,000, right? At least that's what they proclaim. Now, I've seen countless posts like that. Heck, I've made those bold claims in the mirror myself, right? But an engineer named Vincent van Code, pretty cool name, by the way, gave a pretty perfect reality check on this one. He basically just said, sure, everyone says that they're going to hold from $1 all the way to six-figure prices, right? But most would have sold at $100. In fact, he joked that it takes either serious conviction or a touch of insanity to hold XRP through its wild swings. Now, it's obviously tongue-in-cheek kind of comment there, but there is a little bit of truth to it, right? Because most people, they aren't built, I should say, to watch massive gains appear and then, well, possibly disappear. Let's use his example here in a slightly different way. Right? If you bought Bitcoin when it was under $1, right, and it went to $110,000, do you really think that you're going to hold on to it for the whole way? Right? Most of us, if we're being brutally honest, probably would have cashed out much, much earlier, something like $100 or $1,000, $10,000, right? There is nothing wrong with taking profit. The point is, holding all the way to those dream prices is an extreme outlier move. Like, it's not about intelligence there. It's all about being right about the asset. It's an emotional kind of fortitude. Vincent van Code admitted something about that kind of resonated with me here. He said that he had already mentally written off his XRP investment. In other words, he treats that money as gone, spent, done, not a part of his everyday to-day kind of finances. Why? Because then he's not actually torturing himself with each price tick, right? He's not planning what he can buy if it hits $10 or $100. He's in this for the end game, whatever that may actually be. So I think of that one as one of the only ways to truly kind of hold through the entire journey then, by almost pretending that your investment does not even exist until it reaches those epic goals. It sounds a little bit crazy, but it also kind of makes sense, right? You won't be tempted to sell for a lesser win if you aren't actually counting that money as available in the first place. Now, it's an interesting perspective. This might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So, where does all of that leave us, especially those of us clinging on to our XRP through all of this turbulence? Well, for me, it comes down to the conviction and the strategy. Conviction here because if you don't really believe in the long-term value of XRP, then you're more than likely going to get shaken out by fear, by doubt, or by the allure of quick gains elsewhere. And strategy because, well, you can't rely on raw willpower alone, right? You've got to learn to set some rules for yourself. Now, I've done that myself, right? Now, I allow a portion of my stack that I might trade or take profits on when things really get euphoric, because hey, we all have bills to pay and dreams to fund. But I also keep a core holding that I won't touch unless we reach some truly life-changing numbers, or unless something fundamentally changes with XRP itself. This way, I relieve some of the pressure and still have skin in the game for the bigger goal. Now, speaking of strategy, there's another practical tip that I do have to share. Always have a plan A, B, and C when it comes to exchanges. And this might sound boring compared to the thrilling XRP rallies, but it is super important. Right? If you've been through a bull market before, you will know that exchanges can get overwhelmed or even go down at the worst possible times. The last thing that you want to do is to finally decide to sell or to buy and then get locked out because your exchange is offline or froze withdrawals. That's why I have taken it the time to sign up, KYC, and test out multiple exchanges that I can trust. Now, I'm talking about major ones like Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and among many others like Blofin, BitGet, LBank, right? And these are a few that I've used personally myself, of course. Now, over on my website, there's a link in the description to my website. I list all of the exchanges that I do personally use, and I have affiliate links for all of them. Now, I can get an affiliate link for any exchange. I mean, I've got like 30 to 40,000 different emails in my inbox as we speak right now. I'm not going to just sign up and shill some kind of affiliate link for an exchange that I have not used and vetted myself. On my website is a link of all of the exchanges that I do personally have accounts with and personally do use. And I do have affiliate links for all of them. So that means that if you do click, sign up and trade on any of those links, then it does support the channel here at no extra cost to yourself. And I just want to say a big thank you for anyone who does head over to the website and signs up with my links. It is very much appreciated. The point is this though, right? I don't put all of my eggs into one basket. I keep some funds ready in different places so that I can always execute my plans no matter what happens. It's kind of like having multiple escape doors and escape routes, or even multiple doors, I guess, at the party so that you can always find your way out. And on that note, I actually have partnered up with Kraken's crypto exchange for a very special limited time offer to help fellow XRP believers. So if you sign up with Kraken through my link that's in the description down below and trade $100 worth of any cryptocurrency excluding stablecoins within 30 days of opening your account, Kraken will reward you with $25 in XRP. Yeah, free XRP. It's a pretty sweet deal. Invest $100 in, let's say, XRP, get $25 of bonus XRP. Now, that's one way to boost your bag and also a perfect excuse to get another exchange account set up and tested ahead of the next big bull run. I mean, if XRP truly is gearing up for an explosive moment, like many of us do suspect, then you're going to want to be ready to ride that wave and cash out smoothly if and when the time does come. Now, more details and all the full terms and conditions are linked in the description down below, which is super important because not every jurisdiction around the world is going to be eligible. So do make sure to follow all of the terms and conditions that are linked down below. It's also worth noting that this is something that Kraken is supporting. It's not anything to do with, it's not affiliated with YouTube or Cheeky Crypto in any other way. So, of course, it is an affiliate link down in the description. And of course, Kraken's terms and conditions are there as well. Oh, and before I do forget, if you're hungry for more insights, strategies, or maybe you just want a community to vent to when XRP is driving you crazy, then we do have a free educational Discord, right? The link is also in the description below. It's a great place to learn, share, and stay sane in this volatile crypto world. Trust me, talking to others who get it can actually be a lifesaver when you're questioning your own choices at 3 a.m. while staring at the price charts. Now, as we kind of come to the end of this story, I want to leave you with this thought. Every XRP holder that I've met has two things: It's a dream and a dilemma, right? The dream is that one day all of this patience pays off spectacularly, whether that is $10, $100, $1,000 XRP, right? Whatever your number is. But there's a dilemma, and the dilemma is making sure that you don't sabotage yourself before that day arrives. Now, whether it's selling too early out of fear or greed, or holding too stubbornly out of a plan, right? Or at least without a plan, right? We're all kind of walking a rather fine line there, right? Now, I wish that I could tell you that I've mastered it, but the truth is, I'm still learning and still evolving with every insane market cycle. What I do know, though, is that understanding what you hold, connecting with a community, and setting some personal ground rules can make a huge difference. For me, knowing the bigger picture of XRP's role in the crypto ecosystem keeps me grounded. Surrounding myself with fellow XRP holders, shout out to everyone in the Discord and the comments, by the way, it reminds me why I'm not alone in this crazy ride of crypto, and having a strategy, and at least from how I diversify my exchanges to how I plan my exits, it gives me a sense of control in a market that often feels chaotic. Will XRP actually reach the fabled $1,000 someday? Honestly, who really knows? It's a staggering number for sure. It sounds like pure hopium for sure too, but most of us probably won't even hold every last coin until that point, even if it does happen, right? But maybe the exact number is not even the point here. Maybe the real challenge, the real adventure is right here. It's seeing if we have the patience and the emotional strength to stick to whatever our personal endgame actually is. If you ask me, that is the true test that XRP is posing to all of us. Can we hold on long enough and smartly enough to find out what's on the other side of all of this volatility? And you know what? I'm determined to find out. Now, if you are too, then buckle up. Let's see where all of this goes together. Now, for now, if you found this story enlightening, useful, entertaining, you can do me a favor by hitting the like button and that subscribe button and joining me for the next adventure. I'll see you in the next one.